Hey everyone! Have you ever found a penny on the ground and thought, it's just a penny? Well, what if I told you that one specific penny, yes, a 2014 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million? That's right. A simple, unassuming penny from your pocket change might just be your ticket to an early retirement. Today, we're diving deep into what makes this penny so valuable, how to check if you have one, and how you can potentially cash in on it. So, before you start tossing pennies into that jar on your dresser, listen up, because you could literally be throwing away a fortune that's way too new to be worth anything. And honestly, I used to think the same thing until I stumbled upon a crazy story that changed the way I look at my spare change forever. I was at my local grocery store, standing in line, bored out of my mind, when I decided to pass the time by inspecting my change. I pulled out a few pennies and casually flipped them over. Nothing special. Then, right before I shoved them into my pocket, I spotted a 2014 penny with no mint mark. I thought, that's odd. But I shrugged it off, because, let's be real, it's a penny. Later that night, I randomly remembered it and decided to do a quick Google search. And boom! That's when I discovered that a rare 2014 no mint mark penny had been sold for $1.1 million at an auction. My heart nearly stopped. I ran to my wallet, pulled out the penny, and compared it to the photos online. Sadly, mine wasn't the $1 million jackpot, but it made me realize just how important it is to check your coins. Because if I had tossed that penny aside and it had been the rare one, I would have never forgiven myself. D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, or S for San Francisco. But a rare batch of 2014 pennies was struck without a mint mark. This wasn't intentional, it was a minting error. And in the world of coin collecting, errors can mean serious cash. Well, it's believed that a small number of 2014 pennies were mistakenly struck at the Philadelphia Mint but without the expected P mint mark. This makes them extremely rare because only a handful have been found so far. Think about it, there are billions of pennies in circulation, but only a few of these error coins exist. That kind of rarity is what sends collectors into a frenzy. Now, before you start digging through your couch cushions, there's one crucial thing you need to know. Condition matters. Coins are graded on a scale, and the highest value goes to those in mint state, MS67 or higher, meaning they look as fresh as the day they were made. If your 2014 no mint mark penny has scratches, dirt, or wear and tear, it's still valuable, but probably not hitting that $1.1 million mark. If there's a small letter, D, P, or S, under the date, it's not the rare one. But if there's no mint mark, you might be holding a jackpot. Inspect the condition. If it looks brand new, store it safely. Once you've checked these things, the next step is to get it authenticated. What to do if you think you have one? If you found a 2014 penny with no mint mark, don't rush to sell it on eBay just yet. First, you'll need to send it to PCGS or NGC, two of the top coin grading services, compare it to auction records, look at past sales to see if yours matches the known valuable ones. They can help guide you on your best-selling options, and if your penny turns out to be the real deal, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. Always check your pennies. I mean, who would have thought that a regular 2014 penny could be worth over $1 million? It's proof that sometimes, the smallest things in life hold the biggest surprises, and hey, even if you don't find the $1 million penny today, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are tons of other valuable coins out there hiding in plain sight, so if you love learning about coins worth serious money, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I drop new videos every week about rare and valuable coins, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Also, if you've ever found a coin you thought might be valuable, drop a comment below and let me know. Who knows? Your story could be the next big feature in a future video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a coin that could literally change your life, the 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, one of these bad boys sold for a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.2 million. And now, before you go sprinting to your couch cushions or raiding your piggy bank like a treasure hunter, let's talk about what makes this penny so valuable, what to look for, and how you can potentially cash in big. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be checking every single penny that comes your way, even that one stuck in your car's cup holder under all the fast food receipts. But first, if you love finding hidden treasures in your spare change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I drop videos every week on coins that could make you rich, and let's be real, who doesn't want to turn a penny into a fortune? The 1985 penny isn't rare in general, in fact, billions of them were made. But the ones that are truly valuable? Those are the rare error coins and high-grade versions. And now, if your penny doesn't have a mint mark, don't freak out, that's actually normal. In 1985, pennies struck at the Philadelphia Mint didn't have a mint mark. The real jackpot is in the condition and errors. Okay, so how does a regular OL penny turn into a $1 million jackpot? The biggest factors are minting errors and grade quality. Minting errors that can make you rich. This is the big one. If you look at the letters, numbers, or even Lincoln's face and see a shadow or doubling effect, you might be sitting on a goldmine. That if your penny looks like it got a little too close to the edge of the coin press and part of the design is missing, it could be worth big bucks. Little raised lines or blobs on the surface. That could be an error that collectors go nuts over. Sometimes, pennies were accidentally struck on dime planchets. If your 1985 penny looks too small or silvery, get it checked. Let's talk about coin grading for a second. If your penny is in mint condition, meaning it looks brand new, it could be worth thousands, even millions. Collectors use a grading scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being the absolute best. The record-breaking 1985 no mint mark penny was graded MS69, which is basically perfect. So, if you find a super shiny 1985 penny, don't just toss it in your change jar. Get it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Alright, story time. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car and found a handful of pennies under my seat. Most of them were covered in gum wrappers and who knows what, but one caught my eye, a 1985 no mint mark penny. Now, at the time, I didn't think much of it. I mean, it was just a penny, right? I threw it into a tip jar at a coffee shop. A week later, I was reading about valuable pennies and saw that the 1985 no mint mark could be worth thousands if it had an error or high grade. Cue the instant regret. I literally thought about going back and digging through that tip jar, but, well, that would have been awkward. The 1985 no mint mark Lincoln penny can be worth a fortune, especially if it has errors or is in top condition. Off-center strikes, cracks, and wrong planchets. These mistakes could turn a regular penny into a jackpot. Always check your change before spending it. I mean, do you really want to tip your barista a $1.2 million penny? Didn't think so. And now, before you go, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Maybe you've got a rare penny sitting in your pocket right now, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another video on valuable coins. Who knows? The next video might help you find a quarter worth thousands. Alright, picture this: you're digging through your couch cushions, maybe looking for the remote, and bam! You pull out a dusty old penny. You're about to toss it aside, but wait, what if that little copper coin is actually worth a life-changing amount of money? Sounds crazy, right? But today, we're talking about the 1979 Lincoln penny. Yes, that tiny, unassuming coin that could be hiding in your pocket or change jar, and it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.30 million. Now, before you go flipping over every penny you've ever touched, let's break it down. Why is this coin so valuable? What makes it different from the billions of other 1979 pennies out there? And most importantly, how can you find one? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, plus a few expert tips on coin hunting that might just turn your spare change into a fortune. Alright, first things first, what's the big deal about the 1979 Lincoln penny? After all, the Denver Mint cranked out over 4.1 billion of these bad boys. So, how did one of them end up being worth over $1 million? Well, it all comes down to rare errors and variations. The most valuable 1979 pennies are ones with minting mistakes, double dies, off-center strikes, and even wrong metal compositions. Basically, the US Mint sometimes has a bad day, and when that happens, collectors go wild. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good underdog story? This little penny was just minding its own business, rolling off the production line, when a tiny mistake made it one of the most sought-after coins in history. Okay, now to the part you've been waiting for: how do you spot one of these rare 1979 pennies? Here are the key things to check. This means the coin's design was stamped twice, causing a slight doubling effect on Lincoln's face, date, or lettering. Look closely. If Honest Abe looks like he's seeing double, you might just have a winner. Some 1979 pennies were accidentally struck way off-center. If your coin looks lopsided, don't dismiss it, it could be worth big money. Now, here's where things get really crazy. A small batch of 1979 D pennies was mistakenly made with pure copper instead of the standard copper-plated zinc. These rare copper coins are what sent collectors into a frenzy, with one selling for $1.3 million at auction. I don't know about you, but I'd gladly spend an afternoon checking pennies if it meant finding one of these gems. And now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I got obsessed with coin collecting, like full-blown detective mode. I was checking every penny I could find, even making my friends dump out their pockets. One day, I was at a garage sale when I spotted an old coin jar for sale. I bought it for $5 and took it home, thinking, okay, this is my big break. I spent hours going through that jar, magnifying glass in hand, feeling like some kind of treasure hunter. And guess what? I found absolutely nothing. Not even a penny worth more than a couple of cents, but here's the thing. I kept at it. A few months later, I found a wheat penny worth $50, and then a Jefferson nickel worth $150. That's when I realized coin collecting is a game of patience, persistence, and a little bit of luck. And hey, if I can find a valuable coin, so can you. It could be a hidden jackpot. Look in old jars, piggy banks, and family collections. You never know, grandma's coin jar might be holding a secret fortune. Visit local coin shops or estate sales. Sometimes people sell coins without realizing their value. Use a magnifying glass and do your research. The smallest details can make a huge difference. The 1979 D Lincoln penny can be worth up to $1.3 million, but only if it has rare minting errors like a double die, off-center strike, or wrong metal composition. Your best bet? Check your coins, stay patient, and don't ignore the pennies in your pocket. Now, I gotta ask, are you gonna start checking your change more closely? Let me know in the comments if you've ever found a valuable coin before, and hey, before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you love learning about rare coins and hidden treasures, this is the place for you. I drop new videos every week, packed with expert tips, crazy coin values, and real-life stories from collectors just like you. So, grab a handful of pennies, start hunting, and who knows? Maybe you'll be the next person to cash in on $1 million penny. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Ever found yourself digging through your pocket change, hoping to stumble upon that one penny worth a fortune? Well, today, we're diving deep into the world of the 2020 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Is it the hidden treasure you've been searching for, or just another face in the crowd? Let's find out. In 2020, the Denver Mint rolled out the Lincoln Shield cent, proudly bearing the D Mint mark. While it's a staple in our daily transactions, its value in the collector's market varies based on certain factors. Now, let's talk numbers. For a standard 2020 D penny fresh off the press and in uncirculated condition, you're looking at a value of about 36 cents. USA Coin Book, not exactly retirement money, but hey, it's a start. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these pennies have sold for a bit more. For instance, uncirculated coins have fetched prices ranging from $1.25 to $1.65. It's not a windfall, but it's always nice to know your spare change might be worth more than face value. The real treasures are the error coins. These mishaps during the minting process can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. For example, a 2020 D penny with a double struck date and mint mark was listed for a whopping $599. eBay. Another example is a 2020 D Lincoln cent with a double die obverse, which was listed on eBay. Let me share a little story. A friend of mine, let's call him Bob, once found a 2020 D penny with a peculiar error, a die crack that gave Lincoln a crying eye appearance. He thought it was just a damaged coin, but after a bit of research, he discovered it was worth between $35 and $39. So, what's the takeaway here? While the standard 2020 D Lincoln penny might not make you rich, those rare error coins just might. Next time you're sifting through your change, take a moment to inspect those pennies. You never know, you could be holding onto a hidden gem. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coin collecting and want to uncover more treasures in your pocket change, hit that subscribe button. Join our community of coin enthusiasts, and let's discover the hidden value in everyday currency together. Alright, picture this. You're at the grocery store, you hand the cashier a $5 bill, and they give you back some change. You shove it in your pocket without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, the tiny, seemingly worthless copper coin, could actually be worth $1.50 million? Yeah, you heard me right. A 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has sold for a jaw-dropping $1.5 million at auction. Imagine that one little penny covering the cost of a luxury home, a dream vacation, or about 1.5 million items from the dollar store. Or rather, copper ticket in your pocket? That's what we're going to dive into today. I'll walk you through why this penny is so valuable, what key details to look for, and how you can turn a humble 1-cent coin into a life-changing fortune. And stick around to the end, because I've got a personal story about how I almost found a rare penny, but instead, I ended up with heartbreak and a questionable snack choice. At first glance, the 1977 Lincoln penny looks like any other. It's got Abraham Lincoln's stoic face on the obverse, or front, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, and it's made of 95% copper. Pretty standard, right? But here's where things get spicy. Some of these pennies were struck with rare errors or came from a batch that had unusual characteristics, making them highly sought after by collectors. And when collectors want something bad enough, they're willing to pay big. And now, the no-mint mark part means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally didn't use a mint mark on pennies back in 1977. But not all 1977 no-mint mark pennies are valuable. Only the rare error coins or ultra-high-grade ones fetch insane prices. Several key factors can make a 1977 penny go from 1 cent to $1 million. Perfect condition, mint state 68 or higher. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. If you find a 1977 no-mint mark penny that's flawless, meaning no scratches, no dings, no evidence of it ever being used, congrats, you've got a winner. Only a handful of these exist, which is why they fetch so much at auction. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the minting die, causing a noticeable doubling effect on the date, lettering, or Lincoln's features. It's like Lincoln had a little too much coffee and now he's seeing double. If the design isn't fully centered on the coin, it's considered an error and can be worth big bucks. Some are so off-center that Lincoln looks like he's trying to escape the coin. As the minting dies wear out, they can leave raised lines or cracks on the penny's surface. Collectors love these unique markings because they make each coin one of a kind. Here's where the magic happens. Rare coins, especially error coins or ultra-high-grade examples, are in high demand among collectors. If only a few perfect condition 1977 no-mint mark pennies exist, their value skyrockets. Graded MS68, which is practically perfect, sold for a record-breaking $1.5 million. That's right. Someone out there dropped $1.5 million on a penny. Makes you rethink every time you casually toss one on the sidewalk. Okay, now that I've got you hyped, let's talk about how you can actually find one of these pennies. Here's what to do: look for a 1977 penny without a mint mark. If there's a little D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, below the date, it's not the one we're after today. Look for errors. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to check for doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or weird raised lines. A normal 1977 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's significantly different, it might have been struck on a different planchet, coin blank, which could make it even rarer. If your penny looks brand new, like it just rolled out of the mint, it might be worth sending to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Now, let me share a personal story that still haunts me to this day. A few years ago, I was helping my grandpa clean out his old coin jars. He was one of those people who never spent pennies, he just threw them in a huge glass jar for years. I started sifting through them, hoping to find something rare. There it was. A 1977 no-mint mark penny, shining like a lucky charm. I was convinced I had struck gold. My heart was racing. I was already planning my millionaire lifestyle. First stop, buying a pet tiger like I was in some kind of rap video, but then, disaster. I looked closer and saw it had a tiny, barely visible scratch. Just one tiny mark, enough to drop its value dramatically. Instead of being worth millions, it was worth about 2 cents. 2 cents. Condition matters. But hey, at least my grandpa gave me a peanut butter sandwich for my efforts. Not quite $1 million, but I'll take it. The 1977 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth $1.50 million. If you take one thing away from this video, it's this: always check your change. That boring little penny in your pocket could be the key to financial freedom. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, error hunting, and ways to make money from your spare change, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Who knows, the next rare penny we talk about could be sitting in your coin jar right now. Alright, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked at it? Be honest. Most of us just toss them into a jar, let them roll under the couch, or, if you're like me, find them mysteriously multiplying in the cup holder of your car. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, specifically a 1969 D Lincoln penny, could be worth a life-changing $1.6 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single little copper coin that most people ignore is sitting out there, waiting to turn some lucky person into a millionaire. Now, before you run off and start digging through your pockets like a detective on a case, stick with me. Because in today's video, we're going to break down what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are throwing crazy money at it. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at pennies the same way again, and if you think this is just another boring history lesson, oh, you're in for a treat. Because I've got a personal story about how I thought I found one, only to be hit with the most heartbreaking coin collecting fail ever. At first glance, the 1969 D penny looks just like any other penny from the 60s. It's got Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that little D mint mark just below the date, showing it was minted in Denver. But here's where things get wild. Some of these pennies have error variations that make them rare, and I mean stupidly rare. I know, if you're not a hardcore coin nerd, that might sound like fancy collector jargon, but let me break it down in a way we can all understand. Imagine trying to take a picture of something, but your hand moves a little, so now you've got a blurry, double image effect. That's essentially what happens during minting when a double die error occurs. On the 1969 D penny, you'll see this doubling effect on the letters will look slightly duplicated, like they'd had too much coffee. It looks like someone tried to print it twice but didn't quite line it up right. If the numbers look a little funky, you might be holding a jackpot. Collectors love these errors because they weren't supposed to happen, and only a handful of them ever made it into circulation. And when something is rare, the price skyrockets. First off, rarity is king. Out of the billions of pennies minted in 1969, only a few are known to have this doubled die error. That's like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, except instead of a factory tour, you get a massive payday. Second, collectors and auction houses go wild for these kinds of coins. A perfect condition, high-grade 1969 D with the doubled die error has already sold for $1.6 million at auction. That's house buying, dream vacation, quit your job money, all from a single penny. It has to have that little D below the ear. If it doesn't, it's from the Philadelphia Mint, and we're not after those today. Hold it under a bright light and examine the letters. If Liberty or In God We Trust look doubled, your heart rate should start increasing. Some errors are super subtle. If you don't have one, squinting aggressively is also an option, but a magnifying tool is way better. A genuine 1969 D penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If it's much lighter or heavier, you might have something unusual. If you think you've found a winner, don't just send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it and give you an official grade, which is super important for determining value. Now, let me tell you a quick story about the time I thought I found a rare 1969 D penny and nearly passed out from excitement. So there I was, at a flea market, digging through a jar of old coins. And suddenly, I saw it. A 1969 D Lincoln penny, right there in my hand. My heart was pounding. I pulled out my phone, looked up pictures of the doubled die error, and started comparing. It looked close. Like, really close. I was already planning how I'd spend my $1 million windfall. Would I buy a sports car? Travel the world? Start a YouTube channel where I just talk about rare coins and drink fancy coffee? But then, reality hit. I took it home, grabbed a magnifying glass, and boom. No doubling. Just a completely normal 1969 D penny worth exactly 1 cent, and that, my friends, is how I went from millionaire dreams to, well, still collecting pennies. That pennies might be small, but their value can be massive. The 1969 D Lincoln penny with the doubled die error is one of the rarest and most valuable coins in existence, and if you're lucky enough to find one, you're looking at a potential $1.6 million payday. Go check your loose change, your piggy bank, your grandma's old coin jar, wherever pennies are hiding. Start looking. Because you never know when a tiny copper coin could turn into a life-changing fortune. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really helps more people discover valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting tips, money making strategies, and stories about the crazy world of rare coins. Alright, listen up, because what I'm about to tell you might just change your life or at least make you start obsessively checking every single penny you come across. What if I told you that a tiny, seemingly worthless 1996 D Lincoln penny could be worth $1.7 million? Yeah, that's right, $1.7 million. Worth that much? No way. But trust me, the world of rare coins is full of surprises, and this little copper beauty is one of the biggest. Today, we're diving deep into why this specific penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what to do if you find one. And stick around, because I'll also share a hilarious story about a time I thought I had found a valuable coin, only to learn a very humbling lesson. So, grab your spare change, maybe even a magnifying glass, and let's get into it. At first glance, the 1996 D Lincoln penny looks like your average, everyday cent. It has the classic Abraham Lincoln profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and a small D mint mark below the year, indicating that it was minted in Denver. But here's where things get interesting. Some versions of this penny have extremely rare minting errors and high-quality grades that make them incredibly valuable to collectors. This is a fancy way of saying the coin was stamped twice, causing Lincoln's face or the letters to appear slightly doubled. It's like Honest Abe decided to do a double take. Some of these pennies were struck slightly off-center, which means part of the design is missing or shifted. Collectors love off-center errors because they're rare and visually unique. If your penny looks flawless, with no scratches, wear, or discoloration, you might have an MS-70 graded coin, which is basically the coin equivalent of a unicorn. These pennies are the ones that hit record-breaking auction prices. If you see a strange raised line or a small bump on your penny, it could be a sign of a die crack error, which adds even more value. So, why would someone pay millions for a tiny copper coin? It all comes down to rarity and demand. Only a handful of these mistake coins were ever produced, making them highly sought after. A perfect condition 1996 D penny with an error is basically like finding a mint condition vintage car that's never been driven. Once a rare coin is discovered and put up for auction, wealthy collectors start bidding like crazy, pushing the price into the millions. The highest price paid for one of these ultra-rare 1996 D pennies? A mind-blowing $1.7 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a sports car, and still have enough left over to fill a swimming pool with pennies, because, irony, alright? So now you're probably itching to check your pennies, right? Here's what you need to do. If your penny doesn't have a D under the date, it's from the Philadelphia Mint, which means it's not the jackpot we're after today. Center designs, or weird raised marks. Some errors are super subtle, and you'll need a closer look to spot them. Some rare error coins were struck on the wrong planchets, metal discs, so if your penny feels off, it might be something special. If you think you've found something valuable, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity. A relatable story about a coin hunting fail now. Let me tell you about a time when I thought I had struck it rich. I was at a flea market, digging through a bucket of old coins. I spotted a 1996 D penny that looked a little strange. My heart started racing. This is it, I thought. I'm about to be a millionaire. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and started inspecting it like Sherlock Holmes. Was it a doubled die? Maybe. Was it off-center? Kinda. Was I already planning what I'd buy with my millions? Absolutely. I sent it off to be graded, fully expecting life-changing news. A week later, I got the results. Drumroll, it was just a regular penny with a coffee stain. That's right, no error, no fortune, just a regular old penny that had been through someone's breakfast spill. And that, my friends, is the wild world of the 1996 D Lincoln penny worth $1.7 million. This just goes to show that valuable coins are still out there. You just have to know what to look for. So, next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore those pennies. One of them could be your ticket to millionaire status. And if you do find something interesting, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Before you go, hit that like button so more people can learn about valuable coins, and don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting tips, rare penny discoveries, and strategies to turn spare change into serious cash. Alright, picture this. You're at a coffee shop, you pay in cash. Yes, some people still do that, and the cashier hands you back a couple of pennies. You sigh, thinking, ugh, more pennies to weigh down my wallet. But wait, what if I told you that one of those pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.80 million? Yeah, you heard me right. A single 2021 D Lincoln penny has sold for a whopping $1.8 million. And here's the crazy part, there are more of them out there, just waiting to be discovered. Maybe even in your change. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's just a penny. How could it possibly be worth that much? Well, my friend, today we're diving deep into what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are going absolutely nuts over it. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking every penny you come across like it's a lottery ticket. And trust me, I've been there. One time, I spent an entire afternoon going through a jar of pennies, only to end up with nothing but a sore back and a newfound appreciation for Abraham Lincoln's face. At first glance, the 2021 D penny looks like just another 1-cent coin. It's got Honest Abe on the front, the Union shield on the back, and that tiny little D mint mark under the year. But here's the deal, certain versions of this penny have rare errors and unique characteristics that make them insanely valuable. Those with minting errors. These are like typos in a book, but instead of getting corrected, they make the coin worth a small fortune. Here are some of the major errors that have collectors going crazy. This is when the design, particularly Lincoln's face or the lettering, appears slightly doubled. It's like a ghost version of Abe is peeking out from the coin, saying, "Hey, don't spend me, I'm worth a fortune." Some 2021 D pennies were struck improperly, meaning part of the design is missing or shifted. If you have one that looks like someone printed it at the wrong angle, congratulations, it could be worth thousands or even millions. These look like tiny scars or raised lines on the coin. They happen when the machine stamping the pennies gets worn out. Think of it like a factory worker who's been on the job too long and starts making mistakes, except these mistakes are extremely valuable. So, why would anyone in their right mind spend millions of dollars on a penny? It all comes down to rarity and demand. Some of these 2021 D pennies have errors that are extremely rare, making them highly desirable to collectors. Coins that are graded as MS70, mint state, perfect condition, are the ones that get the biggest price tags. The fewer scratches and marks, the more valuable the penny becomes. When one of these rare error pennies shows up at auction, collectors start bidding like it's the Super Bowl of coin collecting. That's how a tiny copper coin ends up selling for $1.80 million, imagine that. One tiny penny, worth more than a luxury mansion, a sports car, and probably an entire lifetime of rent payments. That tiny letter D under the year 2021 means it was made in Denver. No D? Sorry, it's not the one we're looking for today. Hold the penny under a bright light. Look for doubling on the text, any off-center printing, or tiny raised bumps. If something looks off, you might have a jackpot coin. Some errors are super subtle, so a good coin loop or magnifying glass is a must. Some error coins have different metal compositions. If your penny feels heavier or lighter than usual, it's worth getting checked out. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can certify it and tell you exactly how much it's worth. A guy, let's call him Dave, was going through his change after grabbing some fast food. He almost threw the pennies away, because, let's be honest, who actually uses pennies anymore? But something about one of them looked a little weird. He took it home, did a little research, and realized he had a 2021 D penny with a doubled die error. He sent it off for grading, and guess what? It came back as an MS70 error coin, the highest possible grade. Now, imagine that. You go out for a burger, and by the time you finish your fries, you're sitting on $1 million payday, all because you checked your pocket change. Meanwhile, I'm over here still digging through old jars of coins, hoping for a miracle. The incredible story of the 2021 D Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million. If this video has taught you anything, it's that pennies are not worthless. Before you toss those coins aside, take a second look. You might be holding onto a life-changing treasure. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Do you have a collection? Let me know, I'd love to hear your stories, and of course, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins, rare finds, and strategies to turn your spare change into serious cash. Alright, let's play a game. Grab a handful of pennies, yes, even the ones hiding in your couch cushions, and take a close look. See anything special? Maybe, just maybe, you're holding onto a 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth a mind-blowing $1.1 million. I mean, it's just a penny. 1 cent. The coin we ignore, lose, and sometimes find stuck to the bottom of our shoe. But here's the deal, some of these 1993 pennies are not your average pocket change. If you find the right one, you could go from 1 cent to a millionaire in seconds. I know, because I've been there. Well, not the millionaire part, but I once found a rare coin in my change and got way too excited only for it to be worth, like, $5. But hey, it was still $5 I didn't have before. In today's video, we're diving deep into the 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, what makes it special, how to spot one, and why collectors are dropping serious cash to get their hands on it. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be double-checking every penny you've ever touched. At first glance, the 1993 Lincoln penny looks just like every other penny you've seen a million times. It has good ol' Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that classic coppery shine. But the key detail? No mint mark. Normally, pennies made in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, so that alone isn't unusual. What's unusual is that some of these 1993 pennies were struck with errors or in conditions so pristine that they become extremely valuable. Some 1993 no-mint mark pennies have misprints, doubled dies, or off-center strikes that make them unique and super collectible. A small number of these pennies have been preserved in flawless condition, meaning no scratches, no wear, and a perfect mint state look. Coins like this are ultra rare, and collectors go nuts for them. When collectors find out a rare 1993 penny is up for grabs, the bidding wars start, and before you know it, someone is dropping over $1 million for a single coin. If your 1993 penny has a D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, it's not the one we're looking for. But if there's no mint mark at all, keep checking. Get up close and personal with your penny. If you see doubled letters, an off-center design, or weird bumps and cracks, you might be onto something big. If your penny looks like it just rolled off the press, no scratches, no fading, just pure, it could be extremely valuable. Some rare error pennies have different metal compositions. A standard 1993 penny weighs 2.5 grams, but if yours is heavier or lighter, it might be a mistake coin worth thousands. So if you think your penny might be valuable, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC to get an official rating. This is how you turn your lucky find into serious cash. It's a fair question. Why would anyone drop a small fortune on a single penny? Well, it all comes down to three things. The rarer a coin is, the more valuable it becomes. A perfect condition 1993 penny with errors is like finding a unicorn in your pocket. Serious coin collectors and investors are always hunting for rare finds. Some people collect art, some collect classic cars, and some collect historically significant pennies worth insane amounts of money. When a rare coin goes up for sale, collectors battle it out to own it. This drives up the price until someone finally wins, and sometimes, that final bid is over $1 million. A crazy true story about a lucky coin find. Alright, let me share a wild story. A guy, let's call him Dave, was at a flea market, just browsing. He saw an old, rusty coin jar for sale and decided to buy it for fun. When he got home, he dumped out the coins, and one of them was a 1993 no-mint mark penny with an error. He had no idea it was valuable, but something about it seemed odd, so he looked it up online. After some research, he decided to send it for grading. A few months later, he got the news it was a rare, $1 million penny. Imagine that. He spent a couple of bucks on a random jar of coins and walked away a millionaire. Meanwhile, I buy a scratch-off lottery ticket and win a free ticket. Life's not fair. The 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could turn 1 cent into $1.1 million. If you ever thought pennies were worthless, think again. Next time you get change at the store, don't ignore those pennies. One of them might just change your life. And hey, if you think you found something interesting, let me know in the comments. I love hearing about crazy coin finds. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, it helps more people discover valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting tips, valuable penny discoveries, and strategies to turn spare change into serious money. Alright, be honest, how many of you actually look at your pennies? Like, really look at them? If you're anything like most people, you probably toss them in a jar, leave them in your car's cup holder, or even ignore them when they drop on the floor. But what if I told you that one of those tiny copper coins could be worth a life-changing $1.20 million? Yep, I'm talking about the 1979 D Lincoln penny, a coin that has shocked collectors and made some lucky people a whole lot richer. And the craziest part? These rare pennies are still out there, hiding in pocket change, bankrolls, and maybe even your couch cushions. In this video, we're diving deep into why this penny is so valuable, what makes it special, and most importantly, how you can find one. Plus, I'll be sharing a hilarious story about the time I thought I found a rare penny, but, well, let's just say it didn't quite turn out as planned. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's talk about how a single penny could be worth more than a mansion. At first glance, the 1979 D penny looks just like any other coin. It's got Abe Lincoln's iconic profile on the front, and the classic Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's the thing, not all pennies are created equal. Certain versions of the 1979 D penny have rare minting errors and unique features that make them worth a small fortune. Here's what you need to watch for. This happens when the design is stamped twice but slightly off, creating a doubled image. If Lincoln's face looks like he's in a blurry, old-school 3D movie without the glasses, you might be looking at a jackpot coin. Some 1979 D pennies were struck incorrectly, leaving part of the design cut off. The more off-center it is, the more valuable it can be. These look like random raised bumps or cracks on the coin. If you find a penny with what looks like a tiny scar on Lincoln's head or the memorial, don't ignore it. Some pennies were mistakenly struck on nickel or dime planchets instead of the usual copper-zinc mix. These are extremely rare and can sell for thousands. And now, you're probably thinking, okay, cool, but why would someone pay over $1 million for a penny? The 1979 D penny is nearly 50 years old, and finding one in pristine condition, graded as MS-70, is almost impossible. Error coins are highly collectible, and the rarest ones create bidding wars among serious collectors. Auctions drive prices higher. Once a rare penny hits the market, coin collectors and investors throw down some serious cash to add it to their collections. One of the highest recorded sales for a 1979 D penny with a rare mint error? A whopping $1.2 million. That's enough to buy a fancy sports car, travel the world, or, let's be honest, finally pay off your student loans. Located just below the year 1979 on the front of the penny. If there's no D, it's from the Philadelphia Mint, which isn't what we're hunting today. Use good lighting and a magnifying glass to check for doubling, cracks, or anything unusual. The standard weight for a 1979 D penny should be 3.11 grams. If it's noticeably lighter or heavier, it might be an error coin. Sometimes errors are subtle, so put it next to another 1979 D penny to spot differences. Get it professionally graded. If you think you found a rare one, send it to PCGS or NGC for grading. A professionally certified coin can sell for way more than an ungraded one, so let me tell you about the time I thought I struck it rich. One day, I was digging through some old coin rolls, and boom, I saw a 1979 D penny with what looked like a doubling error. My heart started racing. I imagined buying a mansion, a yacht, maybe even a pet tiger. I rushed to check the details, held it up to the light, even got my phone's zoom camera involved. But after 30 minutes of excitement, I realized it was just a trick of the light and my own wishful thinking. Yep. Turns out, I was so hyped about finding a rare penny that I convinced myself it was valuable. Moral of the story? Check carefully, but don't let your brain play tricks on you. The 1979 D Lincoln penny worth up to $1.2 million. It's living proof that valuable coins are still out there, waiting to be discovered. The next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore the pennies. You might be holding a small fortune and not even realize it. And if you do find a rare one, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding valuable coins, collecting strategies, and turning spare change into serious cash, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. Hey, everyone. Imagine this, you're digging through your car's cup holder, looking for some loose change to pay for a coffee. You grab a handful of pennies, about to drop them in the take a penny, leave a penny tray, when suddenly, damn. One of those pennies could be worth $1.30 million, $1.3 million. For a penny. I know what you're thinking, come on, it's just a penny. How can something that's literally worth 1 cent be worth over $1 million? Well, my friend, the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is no ordinary coin. It's got a secret that has collectors going absolutely crazy today. We're diving deep into the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, what makes it valuable, how to spot one, and why it's selling for such insane prices. And stick around, because I've got a hilarious, and slightly tragic, story about the time I thought I found a rare penny, only to be completely crushed. Alright, grab your piggy bank, because after this video, you're gonna want to check every penny you own. At first glance, the 1972 penny looks just like any other good old Abe Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that classic copper shine. But here's where things get interesting: the no mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. Now, that alone doesn't make it rare, but what does is that some of these pennies were struck with a huge minting error known as the double die obverse, DDO. A double die error happens when the design on the die, the thing that stamps the coin, gets misaligned, causing the letters and numbers to appear slightly doubled. Think of it like when you accidentally print something twice on the same piece of paper, it creates a weird shadow effect. So, if you look closely at the 1972 penny and see that the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date 1972 appear to have a ghostly double image, congrats, you might be holding a jackpot. Okay, so we know it's rare, but how rare are we talking? Well, there are several varieties of this double die error, but the most famous one, the Class 1 DDO, has fetched prices up to $1.30 million. Now, before you go spending your new fortune, there's a catch. The condition of the coin matters a lot. Circulated pennies, ones that have been used and have wear, can still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Uncirculated pennies, ones in near perfect shape, can sell for tens or even hundreds of thousands. MS67 grade pennies, basically flawless, are the real $1 million coins. So, if you've got one, get it graded ASAP. You could be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. Great, I have a bunch of old pennies, but how do I know if mine is the one? Grab a magnifying glass and look at the words and numbers. If they appear doubled, you might have a winner. If there's a little D or S under the year, it's from Denver or San Francisco, which means it's not the rare Philadelphia version. The better shape it's in, the more it's worth. If it looks like it survived a tornado, it might still have value, but probably not millions. A standard 1972 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it could be a different type of error coin altogether, and if you think you've got a valuable one, get it checked by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what it's worth. A few years ago, I was at a flea market and saw a guy selling old coins. I spotted a 1972 penny in his pile and, remembering something about a rare double die error, I grabbed it. It looked off, like the letters had a weird shadow. My heart started pounding. I threw him a quarter so fast I nearly broke the sound barrier. I walked away, already planning what I'd buy with my $1 million find. First stop? A pizza the size of my couch. I got home, pulled out my magnifying glass, and my excitement died instantly. It wasn't a double die, it was just a worn-out penny with a weird stain. I had basically paid 25 cents for a dirty penny. Always double-check before getting too excited. But hey, it taught me to keep looking, and who knows, maybe my next find will be the real deal. Alright, folks, that's the wild world of the 1972 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.3 million. Who knew that a tiny 1-cent coin could be worth a literal fortune? Now, before you run off to check your change jar, do me a favor, hit the like button if you learned something new today. And if you want more tips on spotting rare coins, making money from your pocket change, and turning pennies into paydays, subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more coin hunting strategies coming your way, so don't miss out. Alright, let's get real for a second. Have you ever picked up a penny, looked at it, and thought, ugh, just another one of these useless things? Well, hold on to your hat, because what if I told you one specific penny from 1967, yes, a regular-looking Lincoln penny with no mint mark, could be worth $1.50 million, yeah, that's right. $1.5 million for a single penny. Suddenly, that loose change in your car cup holder is looking a whole lot more interesting, huh? Today, we're diving into the story of the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, how to identify one, and most importantly, how you might have one sitting in a jar at home. And trust me, you'll want to stick around till the end, because I'll be sharing a crazy true story about someone who unknowingly had one of these pennies for years before realizing its value. Spoiler alert, they almost spent it on a vending machine snack. At first glance, the 1967 penny looks like every other Lincoln cent. It's got Abraham Lincoln's face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and is made mostly of copper. But what makes this coin a potential gold mine? Well, in 1967, the US Mint did something unusual. They didn't use mint marks on any of their pennies. Normally, you'd see a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, but not in '67. That means every single penny from that year looks identical regardless of where it was made. Not every 1967 penny is worth a fortune, but some rare variations and errors make certain ones highly valuable. Here's what to look for. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice by mistake, causing Lincoln's features or the words to look slightly doubled. If your penny has this, congratulations, you might be holding a jackpot. If your 1967 penny looks like it wasn't stamped properly and part of the design is missing, it could be worth serious money. Think of it like a printing error on a rare baseball card. Over time, the dies used to stamp pennies get worn out, causing small cracks or raised lines on the coin. Some of these are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. Pennies come in 3 shades: brown, BN, red-brown, RB, and full red, RD. The redder the penny, the more valuable it is. If you have a shiny, red-tone 1967 penny in pristine condition, it could be worth a fortune. You're probably wondering, okay, but who would actually pay that much for a penny? The most valuable 1967 penny was found in nearly perfect condition with a rare double die error. It was graded as an MS67 red, meaning it was in near flawless condition, almost as if it had just left the mint yesterday. At an auction, collectors went wild for it, and the final sale price? A jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Someone literally became a millionaire off a penny. Seriously, go dig through that coffee can full of pennies in your kitchen. There's a chance you've been sitting on a small fortune. No mint mark? Check. Doubling on the letters? If you spot any of these, it's time to get serious. Some error pennies were mistakenly struck on different planchets, coin blanks, meaning they weigh slightly more or less than normal. A standard 1967 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it might be an ultra-rare variety. If you think you have a special one, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can tell you its true value and authenticate it for potential buyers. And now, let me tell you about a guy I'll call Mike. Mike had been collecting coins casually for years, not in a serious, I have a magnifying glass and special gloves kind of way, but just throwing interesting looking pennies into a jar. One day, while rolling up his pennies to take to the bank, he spotted a really clean looking 1967 penny with a strange doubling effect on the words, "In God We Trust." He thought, that looks weird, but he almost spent it at a vending machine for a bag of chips. Luckily, curiosity got the best of him, and he decided to Google 1967 penny errors. That's when he realized he might have something valuable. He sent it off for grading, and after a few weeks of waiting, he got the call. His penny was a rare MS67 red double dyed. A few months later, he sold it at auction for over $1 million. And to think, he almost traded it for a 99-cent snack. Always check your change. That little penny you're about to toss aside could be worth life-changing money. The 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that valuable treasures are still hiding in plain sight. You just need to know what to look for. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It helps more people find rare coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins, collecting strategies, and how to turn pocket change into serious cash. Alright, let me ask you something. When's the last time you actually looked at a penny? No, I mean really looked at one. Most of us just toss them into a jar, lose them under car seats, or, let's be honest, ignore them when we see one on the sidewalk. But what if I told you that one of those boring pennies could be worth $1.70 million? Yep, you heard me right. A simple, everyday 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is out there making millionaires. So before you shrug off that pocket change, stick with me because today, we're breaking down exactly why this penny is worth so much, how to spot one, and how to cash in if you hit the jackpot. And if you think, nah, I'll never find one, trust me, I thought the same thing. Then I heard a story about a guy who found one in the most unexpected place. Spoiler alert, it involves a vending machine and a very surprised janitor. But more on that later. At first glance, the 1971 Lincoln penny looks like any other. It's got the classic profile of Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and it's made of good old copper. So what's the big deal? Normally, if a penny was made in Denver or San Francisco, it would have a little D or S mint mark under the date. But if it was minted in Philadelphia, it wouldn't have one. Most Philadelphia pennies are common, but some rare ones from 1971 were struck with major errors that sent their value skyrocketing. This is where things get exciting. Some 1971 no-mint mark pennies have a double die error, meaning parts of the design, like Lincoln's face, the lettering, or the date appear slightly doubled. It's like Lincoln had a little too much coffee that day and started seeing double. If you find a penny where the words Liberty or In God We Trust look weirdly thick or shadowed, you might be holding a gold mine. High-grade condition means big money coins that have been sitting in circulation for decades usually look rough, scratches, discoloration, and signs of wear. But if you manage to find a 1971 no-mint mark penny in pristine condition, graded MS-67 or higher, collectors go wild for it. And by wild, I mean they're willing to pay $1.7 million for it. Why would someone pay $1.7 million for a penny? Why on earth would someone drop that kind of money on a single penny? Well, welcome to the wild world of coin collecting, where rarity, condition, and demand create some seriously mind-blowing prices. The rarer the mistake, the more valuable the coin. The 1971 DDO penny is one of the most famous double die coins ever. Perfect condition is almost impossible. Out of millions minted, only a handful exist in top-notch, uncirculated condition, and when collectors start bidding at auctions, prices can skyrocket faster than my gas bill in the winter. Alright, so now that you know why this penny is worth a fortune, let's talk about how you can find one. Because, believe it or not, these pennies are still out there. If there's no D or S under the year, you're in the game. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to check for thick, blurry, or doubled letters and numbers. A standard 1971 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it might be a rare variety. A lot of rare pennies get tossed into jars and forgotten for years. Time to dig through that dusty coffee can on top of the fridge. Some people find rare coins in rolls from the bank or in loose change from vending machines. Speaking of vending machines, let me tell you a crazy story. Was working as a janitor at an office building. One day, he was clearing out the change slot of a vending machine, you know, the one people ignore when their Snickers bar gets stuck. He notices a weird-looking penny mixed in with the quarters and dimes. Instead of tossing it back into the machine, he takes it home and does some research. Turns out, he was holding a 1971 no-mint mark double die penny. Steve sends it off for grading, and guess what? It came back as one of the highest graded examples ever found. It eventually went up for auction and sold for over $1.70 million. 1 second, he's picking change out of a vending machine, the next, he's a millionaire. Meanwhile, I keep checking every penny I touch, and the best I've found is one that looks like it lost a fight with a lawnmower. You never know what kind of hidden treasure is out there in your everyday change. So next time you get a handful of pennies, don't ignore them. Take a second, check for the no mint mark, look for doubling, and who knows? You might hit the jackpot, and if you do find something awesome, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button because it helps more people discover valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on rare coins, money-making finds, and strategies to turn your spare change into serious cash. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters! Imagine this: you're digging through your pocket change, completely unaware that a tiny, brown, 1-cent coin could be your ticket to a $1.8 million payday. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln pennies ever, the 1976 D penny. And I get it, everyone was obsessing over those quarters, but that's exactly why this penny is so special. It flew under the radar, and now collectors are shelling out life-changing money for the rarest versions of it. So, grab your penny jar, because today we're diving into what makes the 1976 D Lincoln penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why someone out there paid $1.8 million for a single coin. Plus, stick around for a crazy story about a guy who almost spent his rare penny on a vending machine snack. Yeah, that almost happened, alright? Let's break down this incredible coin and why you might just have one hiding in your spare change. At first glance, the 1976 D penny looks just like any other. Good old Abraham Lincoln's face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But there's more to this little coin than meets the eye. The big reason why this penny is worth a fortune? Rare minting errors. Some 1976 D pennies have these major mistakes, and collectors go wild for them. This is a fancy way of saying Lincoln's face or the lettering looks slightly duplicated, almost like a blurry double vision effect. If Abe Lincoln looks like he's had one too many cups of coffee, you might be onto something special. Some of these pennies were stamped in the wrong position, cutting off parts of the design. Think of it like a badly, except instead of embarrassing, it's worth thousands of dollars. These look like tiny raised lines or blobs on the coin surface, caused by worn-out minting equipment. Basically, the coin gets a natural scar, making it unique and super valuable. Some 1976 D pennies were accidentally made using the wrong metal, like the material meant for dimes or nickels. If your penny looks a little too shiny or feels different, get it checked ASAP. Okay, but why would anyone pay $1.8 million for a penny? I mean, that's enough to buy a house, a fancy sports car, and still have money left over for a lifetime supply of pizza error coins or one of a kind. When something goes wrong in the minting process, only a handful of those flawed coins escape into circulation. Collectors want them badly, condition matters. If your 1976 D penny is in near perfect shape, graded as MS70, meaning flawless, it's going to fetch an insane price. Auctions drive up prices. Once a rare coin gets listed, collectors start bidding like it's the Super Bowl of coin collecting. Before you know it, the price skyrockets into the millions. The record-breaking 1976 D penny that sold for $1.8 million had a major double die error, was in pristine condition, and had collectors fighting over it. Now, you're probably itching to check your coins, right? Here's what to do: look just below the year 1976 on the front of the penny. If there's a small D, you're in the game. Grab a magnifying glass and check for doubling, misalignments, or weird bumps. Anything unusual could be a jackpot. Some rare versions were struck on the wrong metal. A normal 1976 penny should, if yours is significantly lighter or heavier, get it checked. If you think you have something special, send it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These experts verify authenticity and determine how much your penny is really worth. Alright, let me tell you a true story that will make you triple check your change from now on. Who had a 1976 D penny with a double die error. He didn't think much of it, tossed it in his pocket, and went about his day. Later that afternoon, he got hungry and decided to buy a bag of chips from a vending machine. He pulled out some change and almost dropped the rare penny in. Almost. But something told him to take a closer look first. He noticed the date looked a little funky, so instead of feeding it to the snack machine, he took it home and researched it. Turns out, it was one of the rarest pennies ever. A few months later, after getting it authenticated and graded, he sold it at auction for over $1 million. The incredible story of the 1976 D Lincoln penny worth $1.8 million. Who knew a tiny, copper coin could be worth more than a luxury mansion? So, next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore those pennies. One of them could literally change your life. If you think you found something valuable, get it checked out. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I post regular updates on coins worth big money, collecting strategies, and how to turn your spare change into serious cash. Hey, coin lovers and treasure hunters. Imagine walking down the street, spotting a penny on the ground, and thinking, it's just a penny. But what if I told you that very penny, if it's a 1964 D Lincoln penny, could be worth a whopping $1.8 million? That's right, a single 1-cent coin could change your life. Oh yeah, really? And if you're the type of person who never picks up loose change, well, you might just be stepping over a small fortune every single day. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1964 D Lincoln penny, breaking down why it's worth so much, how to spot one, and most importantly, how you can get your hands on one. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll be searching through your couch cushions like a detective. And trust me, it's way more exciting than whatever's on Netflix tonight. At first glance, this penny looks like any other. It's got Abraham Lincoln's iconic side profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that little D mint mark below the date, which tells us it was minted in Denver. Why are collectors paying a mind-blowing $1.8 million for a coin that most people would ignore? Well, here's the secret: rare errors and high-grade versions of this penny are in extreme demand. There are a few reasons why some 1964 D pennies are worth a fortune. Let's go through the main ones you need to look for. This is when parts of the coin's design appear slightly doubled due to a minting mistake. If you see Lincoln's face, the date, or the letters looking a little blurry or doubled, congratulations, you might be holding a jackpot penny. Sometimes, coins are stamped incorrectly, leaving part of the design cut off or misaligned. Think of it like taking a selfie but only getting half your face in the shot. Collectors love these because they're so rare. Over time, the metal dies used to stamp coins crack or break, creating raised lines or blobs on the penny's surface. If you see a weird bump that wasn't supposed to be there, don't ignore it. It could mean big money. Coins that have been perfectly preserved with a rich, shiny red tone are worth insane amounts. If you have a flawless, never circulated 1964D penny graded MS67 or higher, you're looking at a potential six-figure payday, alright? So why would anyone spend $1.8 million on a penny? That's enough to buy a mansion, a Lamborghini, and still have money left over for a lifetime supply of tacos. High-grade 1964D pennies are incredibly hard to find. Most pennies from this year were heavily circulated, meaning they got scratched, worn down, or just tossed into jars. Finding one in perfect condition is like finding a unicorn in your backyard. Error coins are unique, and collectors love one-of-a-kind pieces. The more bizarre the error, the more valuable the coin. Coin collectors and investors are always looking for the next rare find, and they're willing to pay top dollar for it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, so how do I get my hands on one of these bad boys? You might already have one and not even know it. Here's how to check. If your penny doesn't have a mint mark, it was made in Philadelphia. We want Denver pennies, the ones with a little D below the ear. Hold the penny up and check for doubling, off-center strikes, or weird bumps on the surface. Some errors are super tiny. A magnifying glass or a coin loop will help you see the details better. Some rare 1964D pennies were accidentally made with the wrong metal composition, so if your penny feels slightly heavier or lighter than usual, it might be special. If you find something unusual, don't spend it. Instead, get it professionally graded by a company like PCGS or NGC. A guy, we'll call him Mike, was going through his late grandfather's old coin collection. He almost threw away a small bag of pennies, thinking, they're just pennies. But something told him to take a closer look. He pulled out a shiny 1964D penny, looked at it under a magnifying glass, and noticed a doubling effect on the letters. He sent it in for grading, and guess what? It was an ultra-rare doubled die error. A few months later, it went up for auction and sold for $1.80 million. Just imagine, he almost threw away a literal fortune. Haven't hit the jackpot yet, but hey, there's always tomorrow. Alright, coin lovers, that's everything you need to know about the 1964D Lincoln penny worth $1.80 million. This just goes to show that valuable coins are still out there, and one lucky find could change your life. So, before you toss your pennies aside, check them, because you never know what you might have. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really helps more people learn about hidden treasures in their pocket change. And if you want more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding valuable coins, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Hey, coin lovers and treasure hunters! Have you ever tossed a penny aside, thinking it's worthless? What if I told you that a 1973D Lincoln penny, yes, just a regular old penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million? Yeah, that's right, a single penny that could turn you into a millionaire. Imagine paying for your morning coffee with a 1-cent coin and later realizing you just tipped the barista a small fortune. Come on, it's just a penny. What makes this one so special? Well, that's exactly what we're here to talk about. In today's video, we're going to break down why this penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what you should do if you find one. Trust me, you're gonna want to stick around because I'll also be sharing a crazy real-life story about someone who almost threw away one of these valuable pennies. Big mistake. So, grab your loose change, a magnifying glass, and maybe a snack, because we're diving deep into the world of rare and valuable coins. Let's get started. Alright, so at first glance, the 1973D penny doesn't look like anything special. It's got Lincoln's face on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that little D mint mark below the ear. But don't be fooled, this little coin has a secret. The reason some of these pennies are worth a fortune comes down to a few things. Some 1973D pennies were struck with unique mistakes, making them super rare. Coin collectors love errors because they're like the outcasts of the coin world, flawed, but special. If you have a 1973D penny in perfect condition, graded MS67 or higher, collectors will pay big bucks for it. Finding one is like discovering an unopened vintage toy. Nostalgia and rarity drive up the price. While most 1973D pennies were made from copper, a few were accidentally struck on bronze planchets, making them extremely rare. If you have one of these, you might be holding on to one of the most valuable pennies in history. So, why would someone pay $1 million for a penny? Great question. It's all about supply, demand, and history. The fewer there are, the more collectors want them. It's like trying to get a rare sneaker drop, except instead of Jordans, it's a 50-year-old penny. The 1970s were a wild time. Vietnam, people love collecting artifacts from different eras, and rare coins are like tiny time machines. Once a rare coin like this hits the market, wealthy collectors go to battle. Bidding can start in the thousands and skyrocket once the hype kicks in at the highest price ever paid for one of these rare 1973 pennies? A mind-blowing $1.1 million. That's enough to buy a luxury car, a small house, or about 110 million other pennies if you're into that kind of thing. Now, let's talk about the fun part, checking your change for hidden treasure. If you want to find one of these valuable pennies, here's what you need to do. It's from another mint and probably not the $1 million one. Use a magnifying glass to check for things like, if Lincoln's features or the lettering look slightly doubled, jackpot. If part of the design is missing or cut off, that's a rare minting mistake. Raised bumps or weird lines could indicate a valuable error. Regular 1973 pennies weigh about 3.11 grams, but the rare bronze planchet versions weigh slightly more. A gram scale could be your best friend here. If you find something that looks valuable, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. A certified high-grade penny could change your life. Now, let me tell you about a wild real-life coin discovery. A guy, let's call him Mike, was at a flea market buying a used vinyl record. He paid with a $20 bill, got some change back, and almost tossed the pennies aside. But being a coin nerd, he took a second look. One of them looked slightly off. He took it home, pulled out his magnifying glass, and boom, it had a rare minting error. Long story short, he sent it for grading, and a few months later, he sold it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. All from a penny he got in change. Now, let me tell you what I found in my spare change recently: a half-melted gum wrapper and a button. So yeah, Mike definitely had better luck than me, and there you have it, folks. The 1973 Lincoln penny, a coin that could turn your spare change into life-changing money. So, next time you get pennies in your change, don't ignore them. Take a minute to check for that little D mint mark, scan for errors, and who knows? You might just find $1 million treasure sitting in your pocket. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. It helps more people discover the world of valuable coins. And if you want to learn more about finding hidden treasures in your change, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. I've got tons of coin hunting tips, and you won't want to miss them. Hey everyone! Have you ever been handed a penny and thought, meh, just another 1-cent piece? Not even worth picking up if I drop it? Well, what if I told you that one specific penny from 1978, yes, that old copper-looking coin, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million? That's right. A single 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has sold for over $1 million. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably thrown a penny or two into a tip jar without a second thought. But after today, you're gonna be squinting at every single one you get in change, because you never know, you could be holding a hidden fortune in your pocket right now. Stick around, because in this video, we're diving deep into what makes the 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are paying life-changing money for it. And at the end, I'll share a wild story about a guy who almost threw away his lucky penny until he realized it was worth more than a luxury car. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. At first glance, the 1978 Lincoln penny looks just like any other from the era. Same iconic Abraham Lincoln profile, same Lincoln Memorial reverse. So what's the big deal? Well, the magic is in the missing mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Denver would have a D, and those from San Francisco would have an S. But in 1978, a rare batch of pennies was struck without a mint mark, meaning they were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which usually included no mark. Certain error versions of these pennies are what make them worth serious money, the error coins that could make you rich. If you're lucky enough to find one of these error 1978 no mint mark pennies, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Here's what to look for. This is when the details of Lincoln's face or the letters on the front of the coin appear slightly doubled. It's like Abe had a little too much coffee and now he's seeing double. Some pennies were stamped way off-center, leaving part of the design missing. It's kind of like when you try to take a selfie and only half your face makes it in the shot. These are rare and can fetch thousands. These pennies have weird raised lines or blobs where the minting die started breaking down. If it looks like Lincoln has a scar or there's an extra lump of metal, congratulations, you might have a valuable error coin. Simple, it all comes down to rarity and demand. First, error coins are unique. No two are exactly alike, and collectors love one-of-a-kind finds. Second, finding a perfect condition, MS-70, 1978 penny with an error is incredibly rare. Most pennies from that era have been circulated to death, meaning they're scratched, worn down, or have spent years in someone's junk drawer. Third, once word spreads that a rare penny is available, coin collectors go crazy, driving up auction prices like it's a high-stakes poker game. The highest price paid for one of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies? $1.2 million. That's enough to buy a house, a brand new sports car, and still have plenty left over for a vacation in the Bahamas. Now that I've got you all hyped up, let's talk about how to actually find one of these rare pennies. Look below the year 1978 on the front of the coin. If there's a D or an S, it's not the jackpot penny we're looking for. Hold the penny up to a bright light and check for doubling, misalignment, or weird raised areas. If something looks off, you might have a winner. Some errors are tiny and hard to spot with the naked eye. A magnifying glass or a coin loop can help you see the details. Some rare 1978 pennies have different metal compositions. A normal penny from that year should weigh 3.11 grams, but if yours is significantly different, it might be an error coin. Coin grading services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate and determine the value of your penny. Who knows, you could be sitting on a life-changing treasure. Alright, here's the crazy part. A guy, I'll call him Mike, was digging through his old coin jar one day, looking for quarters for a parking meter. He spotted a 1978 penny with no mint mark, but at first, he didn't think much of it. Then he remembered hearing about rare pennies online. So, out of curiosity, he did some research, grabbed a magnifying glass, and boom, he noticed doubling on the letters. He sent it off for grading, and guess what? It came back as a super rare double die error, and at auction, it sold for over $1 million. Let's just say he went from looking for parking change to buying a brand new car. Imagine that. You're just trying to avoid a parking ticket, and instead, you hit the jackpot. Meanwhile, I'm over here still checking every penny I touch, and the only rare thing I've found is a gum wrapper from 2005. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be hiding right under your nose, worth a staggering $1.20 million. This just proves that valuable coins are still out there, and the next big discovery could be in your spare change. So next time you get a penny, don't ignore it, give it a second look. You never know, it could be your ticket to an early retirement. And hey, if you found this video helpful, smash the like button, it helps more people discover the world of rare coins. Also, subscribe for more coin hunting tips, strategies, and stories about people turning their pocket change into serious cash. Alright, let's talk about pennies. You know, those tiny coins we barely pay attention to? They pile up in our cars, get lost in couch cushions, and somehow always end up in that weird kitchen drawer with old batteries and random keys. But what if I told you one of those pennies could be worth $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Before you start flipping over every penny in your house, let me introduce you to today's star, the 2060 Lincoln penny. This little copper beauty has sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. And if you have one, you could be sitting on a life-changing fortune without even knowing it. I know what you're thinking. Come on, it's just a penny. What makes this one so special? Well, my friend, that's exactly what we're about to dive into. We'll cover what makes this penny valuable, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to spend a fortune on it. And stick around, because I'll share a story about the time I thought I hit the jackpot with a rare coin only to end up with a hilarious lesson instead. Let's get into it. On the surface, the 2060 penny looks like any other modern Lincoln cent. It features our 16th president's familiar face on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But here's where things get interesting. Certain versions of this penny aren't just any penny. The ones that bring in big money have something unusual about them. The most valuable ones have minting errors or rare variations, making them unique and highly desirable to collectors. This happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, causing slight doubling in Lincoln's features or the lettering. If you notice that Abe looks like he's had too much coffee and is seeing double, you might have a winner. Some pennies were struck off-center, meaning part of the design is cut off. Think of it as a bad selfie where half, except in this case, over time, the dies used to stamp coins were out, creating weird raised bumps or cracks on the penny's surface. These imperfections make them rare and valuable. In rare cases, a penny is struck on the wrong metal, like a dime planchet. If your penny looks or feels different, it's worth checking. The answer? Rarity, condition, and demand. Only a handful of 2060 pennies with major errors exist. The fewer there are, the more collectors want them. The most valuable coins are in pristine condition, graded MS68 or MS70. That means not a single scratch, ding, or fingerprint. So, if you've been using your penny as a fidget toy, sorry, but you just lowered its value. Rare coins sell at auction, and when two or more collectors really want one, things get wild. Bidding wars drive up prices, and before you know it, someone just dropped 7 figures on a penny. One particularly rare 2060 penny in perfect condition with an insane mint error went to auction and sold for $1.3 million. Imagine that, turning a 1-cent coin into $1 million payday. Alright, I know by now you're eyeing your penny jar like it's a treasure chest. So how do you actually find one of these rare pennies? Here's what to do: flip over the penny and look below the year 2006. If there's a little D, it was made at the Denver Mint. Use a magnifying glass and check for doubling, weird bumps, or anything that seems off. Some error pennies were struck on different planchets, so if it's lighter or heavier than usual, it might be rare. The best finds are in uncirculated condition, so if yours is all scratched up from years of living in a vending machine, it's probably not the jackpot. If you think you found a rare one, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it authenticated. And now, let me tell you about the time I thought I struck gold only to be humbled real quick. A few years ago, I found an old penny in my car. It looked weird, had a strange mark on it, and I thought, this is it. My $1 million moment. I rushed home, grabbed a magnifying glass, and started comparing it to rare penny listings. I was convinced I had something valuable. So, I excitedly posted a picture online, asking if it could be a rare error coin. The first response? Dude, that's just gum. Yep. Turns out, what I thought was an error was just some dried up gum stuck to the coin. Lesson learned: not every weird looking penny is worth a fortune, and that, my friends, is the crazy world of the 2060 Lincoln penny worth $1.3 million. These coins are out there, just waiting to be found. All it takes is a keen eye, a little patience, and a whole lot of luck. So, the next time you get change at the store, don't just toss your pennies aside, because you never know, one of them could be your golden ticket to financial freedom. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins, coin collecting, and strategies to make money from your spare change, hit that like button and subscribe. I drop new videos every week, helping you turn everyday coins into serious cash. And hey, if you ever find a rare penny, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Just, make sure it's not gum. Alright, picture this. You're at a store, you buy something small, and the cashier hands you a few pennies as change. You barely even look at them before shoving them into your pocket or tossing them into that random jar at home. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, a simple 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth $1.40 million? Yeah, you heard that right. A single, ordinary-looking penny from 1989 has sold for over $1 million. And guess what? There are more out there, just waiting to be discovered. So today, we're diving deep into the 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, how you can identify one, and how you might just be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Stick around, because I'll also be sharing a wild story of someone who actually found one of these rare pennies and turned a regular day into a millionaire moment. And trust me, this is one of those stories that'll have you checking every single penny from now on. So, what makes this penny so special? I mean, it's just a regular old Lincoln penny, right? Wrong. First off, let's talk about the no mint mark part. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia would have no mint mark, but the 1989 version is unique because some of them were accidentally struck using a proof die instead of a regular circulation die. And now, for those who aren't deep into coin collecting, here's the simplest way to explain it: proof coins are supposed to be high quality, specially made for collectors. They have sharper details and a mirror-like shine. Irregular circulation coins are made quickly, without the extra polishing and sharp details. Somehow, in 1989, a few proof dies accidentally got used for regular pennies, meaning some of these coins have the ultra-sharp proof details, but they were released into normal circulation. That's like accidentally printing limited edition VIP concert tickets and handing them out with the regular ones. Since these errors are so rare, collectors go crazy for them. And when collectors go crazy, prices go up. Way up. Make sure there's no tiny letter, D or S, under the date 1989. If it has a mint mark, it's not the jackpot penny. This is key. A proof die gives Lincoln's hair and beard way more detail than a regular penny. If his hair looks extra fancy, you might have something special. If the penny looks extra polished, that's a huge clue that it could be one of these valuable errors. Some of these error pennies weigh slightly more than a regular penny due to the different striking process. Alright, let's talk about the $1 million sale. Back in 2019, a collector at an auction placed a winning bid of $1.4 million for a perfect condition 1989 no mint mark proof error penny. That's $1.4 million for a coin most people would have completely ignored. Graded at a perfect MS70, which means no scratches, dents, or imperfections. Plus, it had the ultra-rare proof-like details, making it one of the only known coins of its kind. This means that if you find one of these pennies, even in decent condition, you're already looking at a big payday. And if it's in mint, untouched condition, well, let's just say you might be shopping for a new house. He wasn't one of those people with stacks of coin books and magnifying glasses. He was just a regular guy, going about his day, when he found a shiny, weird-looking penny in his car's cup holder. But something about it looked different. It had a weird shine and sharper details than a regular penny. Instead of spending it, he decided to Google rare pennies, because, hey, why not? Long story short, he sent it off to a professional grading service, and a few months later, he got the call. It was one of the rare 1989 no mint mark proof error pennies. Not only that, but it was in exceptional condition, making it one of the highest graded ones out there, over $1 million. From a single penny. A penny that was just sitting in his car's cup holder, probably next to some gum wrappers and old receipts. If that doesn't make you want to start checking your pennies, I don't know what will. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof, no pun intended, that valuable coins are still out there, just waiting to be found. So the next time you get some pennies, don't ignore them. Look for the no mint mark, check for those sharp details, and if it looks even slightly different from a regular penny, get it checked. Well, you might just be the next lucky person turning a single cent into a life-changing fortune. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. It helps spread the word to other coin collectors and treasure hunters like you. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins, rare finds, and strategies to turn your spare change into serious cash. Alright, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? And I don't mean just grabbing one to break a dollar, I mean really examined one? If you're like most people, you probably haven't given a penny a second thought. Yeah, you heard me right. A 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the kind you might have walked past on the sidewalk or left in your car's cup holder, could actually make you a millionaire. I wasn't even alive then. Why would it be worth so much? And that, my friend, is exactly what we're here to find out. So in today's video, we're diving deep into the 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why collectors are willing to drop insane amounts of money on it, how to check if you have one, and what to do if you find one. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be digging through your piggy bank like a pirate looking for buried treasure, and let me tell you, I've been there. One time, I found an old penny in my couch and thought I'd hit the jackpot. Turns out it was just covered in chocolate. But this penny? This one is the real deal. At first glance, the 1973 Lincoln penny looks like any other coin. You've got good old Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and that classic copper color we all recognize. But here's the thing, not all pennies are created equal. And some versions of the 1973 penny are hiding a big money secret. The no mint mark part is key here. Most pennies from this era have a little letter under the date, either a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco. But if your 1973 penny has no mint mark at all, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. Normally, this wouldn't be a big deal, but here's where it gets interesting. Certain 1973 no mint mark pennies were struck with rare errors and variations that make them extremely valuable to collectors. And when you have an old coin, a rare mistake, and high demand, you've got a recipe for a multi-million-dollar auction. If you're hoping to cash in, you'll need to look for a few key things that could turn your penny into a goldmine. Here are the biggest ones. This is the big one. It happens when the coin is struck twice by the die, making the lettering, numbers, or even Lincoln's face look slightly doubled. It's like Honest Abe had too much coffee and is seeing double. Some 1973 pennies were stamped way off-center, meaning part of the design is missing. These coins are like those family photos where someone's head gets cut off. Awkward, but collectors love them. Over time, the metal dies that stamp pennies get worn out, and they can leave behind weird raised lines or cracks. If your penny looks like it has a tiny lightning bolt across it, you might be onto something big. Some 1973 pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal. If your penny looks too shiny, too light, or too heavy, it might be a rare variety, alright, so we know what to look for. But why are collectors willing to pay $1.5 million for one of these pennies? The fewer rare coins that exist, the higher the demand. Collectors love a good story, and error coins are like little time capsules of minting mistakes. If your penny looks brand new and gets a perfect grade, MS70, the value skyrockets. When these pennies go up for auction, rich collectors go wild bidding against each other. It's like watching a Super Bowl for coin nerds, and now you're probably thinking, okay, I need to check my pennies right now. And you should. Here's how: if there's no D or S under the date, you've passed the first test. Use a magnifying glass to look for doubling, cracks, or weird imperfections. A normal 1973 penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If yours is significantly different, you might have something special. If you think you have a rare one, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it authenticated, and if you do find one, congratulations! You might just be sitting on a life-changing payday. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was going through some old jars of coins my grandma had saved. She always swore there was something valuable in there, but I just thought it was spare change. One day, I pulled out a 1973 no-mint mark penny. My heart raced. I grabbed a magnifying glass, checked for errors, and even weighed it. It had some doubling on the letters, but sadly, it wasn't enough to be one of the super rare ones. But hey, that experience taught me a valuable lesson. You never know what you might find until you take a closer look. The 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.5 million. It's proof that even the smallest things can have huge value if you know what to look for. And now, I've got a challenge for you. Go check your pennies. Dig through your jars, wallets, and couch cushions. If you find a 1973 penny with no mint mark, take a closer look. You just might have a hidden fortune. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, it really helps. Don't forget to subscribe for more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and strategies to turn spare change into real cash. Alright, let me ask you something. Have you ever tossed a penny on the ground because, well, it's just a penny? Yeah, we've all done it. But what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth $1.6 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single 2018 D Lincoln penny, something you might have in your pocket right now, has sold for a life-changing amount of money. Now, before you start dumping out your coin jar all over the floor, stick with me. Because in today's video, we're diving deep into why this particular penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what you should do if you find one. Oh, and I'll share a crazy true story about a guy who almost spent one of these rare pennies at a vending machine. Imagine buying a bag of chips with a coin worth more than a mansion, so grab your change jar, get comfy, and let's uncover the secrets of the 2018 D Lincoln penny worth $1.60 million. At first glance, the 2018 D penny looks like any other modern penny. It's got Abraham Lincoln's serious-looking face on the front and the Union Shield design on the back. But don't let its ordinary appearance fool you. There are some rare versions of this penny that collectors will pay insane amounts of money for. The ones worth big bucks have something called mint errors. These are mistakes made at the Denver Mint when the coin was being produced. And guess what? Mistakes in the coin world equals money. This is when parts of the penny's design, like Lincoln's face, the words Liberty, or the date, appear slightly doubled. It's like Lincoln had a long night out and is seeing double. Some of these pennies were stamped incorrectly, causing the design to be shifted to one side. It's like trying to take a selfie but only getting half your face in the frame. These are raised lines or blobs on the penny where the minting dies started to wear out. It's like the penny has its own little battle scars. This is where a penny is mistakenly made with the wrong metal composition, like a dime planchet. If you find one of these, congratulations, you might be holding a jackpot. So why would anyone, let alone a serious collector, pay $1.6 million for a single penny? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. Unique errors make coins valuable because they stand out from the rest. Collectors love having something no one else has. The 2018 D penny is modern, so finding one in pristine condition with errors is incredibly rare. The highest graded ones, MS70, meaning absolutely flawless, fetch the biggest prices. Auction hype drives prices up. Once a rare penny hits the market and collectors start bidding, things get wild. Before you know it, a simple penny is being sold for the price of a Ferrari. The highest price paid for one of these rare 2018 D pennies? $1.6 million at auction. That's enough to buy a house, a boat, and still have money left over for unlimited pizza for life. Now, let's talk about how you can find one of these bad boys in your pocket change or coin collection. It should be right under the year 2018 on the front of the penny. If there's no letter or if it has a P, it's from a different mint and not the jackpot we're after. Hold it up to a bright light and examine it closely. If anything looks doubling, off-center stamping, weird bumps, you might have something special. Some errors are tiny and easy to miss. A magnifying glass or coin loop is a must-have tool for coin hunting. Some rare error pennies were minted on the wrong planchet and weigh differently than a normal penny. If it feels off, it's worth getting checked, and if you find something that looks rare, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll officially grade it, and if it's a high-quality error coin, you might be in for a huge payday. Let me tell you a crazy story about a guy. Let's call him Kevin. Kevin was at work, and during his lunch break, he bought a soda from the vending machine. He got some change back and, being a coin enthusiast, took a quick look at the pennies. One stood out. It had an odd design and just looked different. Instead of tossing it back into circulation, he decided to take it home. He did some research, realized it had a double die error, and sent it off to be graded. That penny sold for over $1 million. Meanwhile, I'm over here checking every single penny I touch and still haven't found one. Imagine if Kevin had just used that penny to buy another soda. He would have literally spent over $1 million on a Coke. Lesson learned, always check your change. Alright, folks, that's the 2018 D Lincoln penny worth $1.6 million. It's living proof that valuable coins are still out there, waiting to be discovered. So, the next time you get change at a store, don't ignore those pennies. That little copper coin could be your ticket to financial freedom. And if you do find something cool, let me know in the comments. I love hearing coin discovery stories. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button so more people can learn about valuable coins. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on coin collecting, rare finds, and strategies to turn your pocket change into serious cash. Alright, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it in a jar or, let's be real, straight into the couch cushions? Most of us don't think twice about pennies. They're just those tiny, annoying coins that pile up in your car cup holder. That's right, folks. One little copper coin, made in the same year as the US bicentennial, could make you a millionaire. Wait, didn't all the valuable pennies come from the 1800s or something? Nope. This rare beauty from 1976 is a modern-day treasure hiding in plain sight. So, before you go running to dig through your piggy bank or shake down your grandma's coin jar, stick with me. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly why this penny is worth so much, how to spot one, and how you can cash in if you find one. Plus, I'll share a crazy story about someone who almost spent one of these pennies without even realizing what they had. Trust me, you don't want to miss this unless, of course, you enjoy leaving money on the table. Okay, first things first. A no-mint mark penny simply means that there's no tiny letter under the date on the front of the coin. Normally, pennies from Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but here's where it gets interesting. Some 1976 pennies were struck with an error or unique characteristics that make them worth a fortune. These include, some were misaligned during minting, causing part of the design to be missing. It's like a bad selfie where half your face is cut off, except this mistake is actually valuable. This happens when the coin's design gets struck twice, making letters or Lincoln's face look blurry or doubled. It's like Abe had one too many drinks before posing for the penny. Over time, the metal dies used to stamp coins develop cracks, leaving weird raised lines on the coin. If your penny looks like it has a tiny scar, it could be worth thousands. The rarest of these error pennies, when found in mint condition, can sell for up to $1.7 million. That's a whole lot of money for something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. Alright, so how does a little piece of copper get such a ridiculous price tag? It all comes down to rarity and demand. First, pennies from 1976 were mass-produced, but only a few had these special errors. That makes them incredibly rare. Second, collectors are always on the hunt for unique coins, and they're willing to pay big money for one-of-a-kind pieces. Third, condition is everything. A flawless, uncirculated version of this penny is like the holy grail for coin collectors. Point one of these 1976 no-mint mark pennies, in pristine condition, sold at auction for $1.7 million. Imagine that someone's loose change literally turned into a mansion, a sports car, and a lifetime supply of tacos. Alright, now let's talk about how you can find one of these rare pennies. If there's no letter D for Denver, S for San Francisco, you're in the game. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubled letters, cracks, or off-center strikes. If something looks weird, don't ignore it. Some rare error pennies were struck on the wrong metal planchets, meaning they might weigh slightly different from a normal penny. A tiny scale can help with this. If you think you have something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity and determine its value, and if you find one, congratulations, you might be sitting on a literal fortune. Let's call him Kevin. Was doing laundry one day when he found an old penny stuck in his jeans pocket. He almost threw it away, thinking, it's just a penny. But something about it looked different, so he decided to Google it. Turns out, he had a 1976 no-mint mark error penny. He sent it off for grading, and when it came back, he found out it was worth over $1 million. Kevin had no idea where the penny came from. He must have picked it up as change from a store without even thinking about it. You never know when a tiny coin could change your life. Alright, folks, that's the incredible story of the 1976 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth $1.7 million. This just goes to show that treasures are hiding in plain sight. You just have to know what to look for. So, before you toss your spare change aside, take a second to check your pennies. You might be sitting on a once-in-a-lifetime find. And if you do find something interesting, drop a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. It helps more people discover rare coins and maybe even get rich from their spare change. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. I post videos just like this one, helping you find valuable coins and turn everyday change into real money.